Alrighty, good morning, guys. Welcome back to the inflation show. This morning, CPI numbers come out with the most expected result. Hot inflation, if you want to call it the current inflation, rose to 5%. That's a far cry from 2%, which is the Fed mandate. Of course, Powell let us know we want to get inflation past 2%, and it's expected to be transitory, meaning it'll go away. So CPIs came in at 3.8%, which is the highest since 1992, which makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. And again, I think the market realized that this is the most expected thing. So this is why you see things coming up in the pre-market action here. Futures are rising. They dipped on the first onset of the release of the data, but that's pretty normal, and so it's been pretty bid since then. When we look, S&P is up over 30 basis points. The Dow is really what's putting the points on, over 46 basis points. This is due to energy and banks. If we just take a quick look, energy up almost 1%, banks up almost 1%. So the most expected sort of result with our two benchmark sectors really getting the brunt of the bid coming through. This should, of course, help us lift to all-time high, and that should help the Nasdaq, which is up about 25 basis points. Of course, it's not none of this data helps any of the tech companies really, but it doesn't hurt them, and so this is still we're still in the same again the same story. There's no difference between what was going on before with the data or anything else. Um, it's it's one of those things that if it was a surprise and no one was expecting it and it wasn't according to plan and no one was sort of positioned, then it would be a holy shit sort of situation and what the hell's going on? And now I need to change my portfolio. That's not the case here. Everyone's so sort of entrenched in sort of this economy focused value centric portfolio that it doesn't really matter, and it's a question again of later on what does it mean. And we talked about this yesterday that there's an understanding that the Fed is probably right. And so what we saw yesterday was yields continuing to go down to the lowest point we've seen in a long time. You can see this morning, again, when there's inflation shown in the data, you should see yields rise. So we see yields rising back. This is still pretty far away from how much yields actually went down over the last week or so. And so we do see sort of this balancing act coming back. And so nothing that's really going to be in the way, right? Nothing that's in the way. We see the commodity sector starting to get back going, or the commodity markets getting back going. We did see a bit of a stall over the last, like, call it 2 weeks or so. We haven't really seen much from that area. And so looks like we're sort of back on back onto the usual. Okay, so this doesn't really change what I was talking about yesterday. We want to look for some more risk, and the reason being here again is we're on the brunt of going into all time high, and we've been trading at it, right? And I mean more of a trend through the all time high, something through here, right? I want to find some risk because we've been pretty passive. There's not much to do. The market's been pretty slow. All we can really do is play risk management and look for ways to get all our money in all the time and just ride whatever trend is in front of us. We haven't really got the opportunity to take these sort of swing trades that offer on the option side some significant percent, right? And so really looking these next 2 days to find, again, if it's not there, we're not going to take a trade, but really looking to keep our eyes open and find some things that are a little bit riskier, not specifically retail stocks, nothing like this AMC action or anything like that, but some things that maybe are being forgotten, possible. We've taken a look at things like travel in the past when it's sold. This is something that I've continued to talk about holding and buying through when you get these pullbacks. Of course, when you look at the data, it backs up. Okay, the economy is getting going. Can only reopen once, but it is happening. So of course, you're going to get a reaction on something like travel here. So looking to continue our travel trades. This is sort of the area in which we've had the most success in terms of a volatile sort of sector that is still on a value orientation, just due to its nature being tied to the economy more, tied to consumers. And so we're going to continue to of course, push these through. If you don't have these positions, then, well, these next 2 days are probably going to be a very nice opportunity to push them through the weekend. And really, I think it's really about when you take these trades, we can all say that, yes, in a year from now, these will probably be up significantly compared to the low that they're at, right? That's going to be a long trade and not very much money. These trades, I think you need to be pressing risk in terms of the options you're buying, and this is the opportunity to go take, your 1 month out option, and maybe a little out of the money and really get some risk on there. And there is some retail sort of mindset behind that to do so. That we know there are some pretty, let's call it out there sort of folks that will buy anything, and so it's not the worst thing in the world to go take something and try to find someone to sell it to. So we're gonna be looking for that across the market, on our on our equities that are tied to commodities. This is another opportunity to take those as well. We talked about this yesterday with steel. CLF put a lot of points on. It's up another 4% today. X, same story. These are trades that do offer that sort of return that we look for on options. Of you can take a swing trade that's a bit riskier, and you can take trades that you're going to be out of very quickly, right? It's not like we stay in on the X trade or something more than a week or two, right? These are the kind of trades that if you're betting on price to climb very quickly, then let that be reflective in your options that you buy, right? Buy some shit that's going to actually pay you for the risk that you're already taking. There's not much point here to buy a 3 month option on something like X. Again, we've already sort of done this, but I just mean in terms of other things we look at, it doesn't really make sense to go take something that you're not going to get exposure in the short term on. That's sort of contrary to exactly the point of taking the trade. And so it's again important that we don't use this sort of slow passive strategy that we're taking on the overall market. When we look at banks, energy, and we're trying to just long term the hell out of that, right? We want to push that for a year if we could. Be great. What we're really trying to do in this circumstance is, for every day that the candles are going up, we want to be in the position, and if it's coming down, we want to be out, and we'll look to re-enter it, right? We want to really be hit and goes, and to do so effectively means to take more risk, right? You have to have the options that are going to do so, and so look for upside. Look for upside on trades. When we start to look through the rest, uh, it is important still that when we look at banks and energy here, that you are a part of these moves in some sort of way. I've mentioned plenty of different oil energy charts, plenty of different banks, things like GS, right? When we look at them, we've been a part of all of it, right, for a very long time. It's Again, it's really easy to look at some of the charts and see that they're at highs and then go, well, the points already came, I missed it. I'm going to go buy something that's at a low instead. This is not really the area in which you go, let me go buy the worst bank because they're so far behind, they'll catch up. Banks don't really work like that, and neither does energy. If they're really far behind, it's because they suck. No one wants to buy them, right? You want to be buying the leaders here because the leaders can continue to make more money. Whether it's being priced like that because of a fundamental reason, because the bank just straight up makes more money, or if it's just because the fact that, again, there's a trend, there's a rally going, and it's going to continue. Those are things that you do not then go to the other side and make some sort of argument. So again, when you look at the bank and energy side, make sure you are positioned uh, in something, and then make sure you're not going, well, you know what, this bank, it's at a low. Maybe it'll come back. Probably not. Probably gonna go bankrupt. Either way, either way. But be a part of it. The next thing, retail stores. So we've talked about this for a very long time. It's very much tied to inflation because again, CPIs. When we talk about CPIs, it's literally just consumers and prices, right? Well, matter of fact, when we look at retail stores as a direct sort of confrontation between consumers and prices. And so the businesses are going to benefit, right? And so things like Macy's chart, right? I posted the breakout here. We just talked about it yesterday. We've been talking about it plenty of time. These kind of charts here offer really nice positions to go put risk that's a little different compared to the rest of the market as well, because the charts trade very differently. They trade in between data. And so we just got CPI numbers. This chart is going to trade on a trend, more than likely, until the next set of data, right? And we've seen this with a lot of, or at least we've seen this in the past. And it's very easy to look at this chart and find out when exactly those things happen, excluding the January sort of volatility, because again, when all the meme stocks got going. And so these charts, again, are tied directly to what we've been doing. These are opportunities for swing trades as well. Whether you're looking at, again, you can really go down the line and just find a lot of different charts out there that might offer opportunities. Something like FL in here hasn't broke out yet, right? So you can be looking through a trend line down through here and go, okay, once I get a breakout here, I can take that trade. There's a lot of opportunities like that in this sector. So keep your eyes open for something like this. A lot of these charts are trading in a range. If it exits the range, take the trade, right? If you have the money to do so, right? Same with when we look at things on the, again, these are retail stores, but when we look at things on like the pharmacy side, we talk about RAD, we talk about WBA. These kind of charts, even though they get pegged down by some Amazon news that obviously didn't matter, here we are, we continue the trend. These are the kind of charts that take advantage of the fact that retail likes them, and again, the same reasons they're a part of this inflationary trade, but you just don't really think about it like that. It's a little separate, right? But it does get the benefit of all those different things. These are areas, again, that you can take options that are riskier, and they're going to offer that idea of 100% return in a very short amount of time. But your downside risk is very minimal. There's not, when you look at most of any of these different charts we're looking here, these don't really have a downside risk to them in the sense that you're going to lose your cost basis. It's very rarely that that's going to happen, because if you're buying something that's on the way up, it's going to take a lot for it to come down, in the sense that people are no longer speculating on it, right? Are people no longer going to be active on a chart? Does it randomly just go away when it starts going up? If something is going up, it's going to catch momentum if it's something we're looking at. We don't look at things that don't move. We need to look at things that have volatility, that can actually put points on it and actually make a move themselves, right? They don't even need the market. And the other thing to remember is that if the market does go into all-time high, we're looking at just the S&P, everything across the board gets demand. It's not just, again, it's not just some average goes up. It's that everything gets that extra bit of demand, no resistance, and you start to move. Most charts we look at have the exact same trend line as the market. If you start to remove that resistance, it's across the board, everything will start to rise and start to go through something. We've seen charts in the past, things like, for instance, Visa or MasterCard, something that's slower, and they will have the same resistance as the market, even though those charts may be lower than their high. And then all of a sudden, as soon as the market goes all-time high, it just avoids all supply and resistance on the individual charts, right? And they start to have their own velocity. This is something to keep in mind, and why I'm going to be a little bit riskier going is because I do think that's happening, and I want to just be involved before the volatility comes in. We're at an extreme low. Well, I mentioned this ridiculous VIX chart all the time. We're just at this point where there's no thought of volatility. The thing to remember here is that volatility is not bad. It's not. We call this the fear index, but that's not how we look at it. We're traders. We're not like sitting on wealth and just hoping the markets go up for eternity. We're trading. We want things to move so that we can profit off of that gain or loss, right? Whichever way the market goes, we trade it. You need volatility for moves to go one way or the other, right? If it's not, it just goes very slow like we've seen. So even if this spiked up, it doesn't mean the market's going down. Unfortunately, right now, it does mean that, right? That's the direct correlation to the downside. This is where does not help, but we look for IVs, right? And so right now, we have pretty low implied volatility across the market. The only thing that causes premiums to go up is the implied volatility. If that goes up, premium level goes up, right? And so really the thing to be doing here, look for things that have a low volatility. You see something that is below 30% IV on something that has been making moves, then it's probably a little understated what the actual volatility is. And if we go into all-time high, that's going to jump. It will jump. It's just the nature in which it's going to happen, right? And so this is going to be sort of, uh, maybe we're going to have to progress through it, see if we can find things. I'm not exactly sure uh, if we're looking at things in a different way, if we'll actually find something different. But I think it might be time to get out of this sort of slow moving passive. Okay, what's the data? Okay, how's my portfolio? Okay, I'm nice and passive. I'm protected. I'm kind of bored. I'm fucking bored. I wanna buy stuff. I wanna be active, do things, right? We haven't really done it. I don't really consider buying dips and lows really something that uh I don't know that active, or that it's not something volatile, and it's not like these trades here offered us 100% return. No, these are just where we started our trades. Just like here we started our trade, here we started our trade. Those are long-term trades. I'm looking for those individual tickers that are just beyond anything else, and again, not something that everyone's buying. And so we'll see. We'll keep the eyes open. And so again, some of the tickers from last night you'll notice have some of that vibe. That obviously bios have continued to prove, and so that's a little bit of a separate topic. You'll notice I put the Fox chart in here. Again, I'm expecting further consolidation in this area. Whether we could call this again, there's broadcasting, internet, all these different deals that are going on in this sector. I do believe there's more coming. I've talked about Viacom. It seems like there's probably something there. I threw in the Fox chart here because beyond it just looking like a nice breakout coming out of a range, I would imagine that there's speculation across this entire area. I'm trying to take advantage of that maybe we catch some M&A before it happens. We figured out the whole AT&T thing before it happened. Obviously the results were very different, but again, the points come before the thing happens, right? It's the speculation before an event, and then take profit, right? We take profit into the selling, right? And so we have a little bit of a different mindset. And so right now is a good time to be taking advantage of. You think there's M&A? We did the same thing with energy before, during the middle of COVID, when there was speculation that there could be mergers. We've seen it in a lot of different areas, right? And so looking for some more M&A ideas. Obviously more bios, fade the same bio. NCTY, this is a similar idea. The low trades down here, I'll just mention, most charts have this look to it, and you've probably noticed that we have some similar charts that look like this, that they're at a low, and they just got some sort of bid, right? Whether it's a big day like this chart to 30% yesterday, that's ridiculous. But these charts that just came off the low, those are great opportunities that are looking to go catch the rest of the retail sort of uh, meme stocks right now. And keep in mind that that's a very real thing. That something coming from a low that starts to get momentum will start to also become that. And we've seen this, multiple times. Like Triple BY was like a week behind the whole AMC move, and so we took advantage of that and bought it. And then what happened? Well, it went up quite a bit, right? And so a lot of similar ideas through that. I don't need to talk about any of this. And then looking at something like this chart here, I thought this was a really interesting chart, so I'm going to mention it. POW. It doesn't really matter what your opinion is on this sort of side. This is an ammunition company, right? Do we really need more ammunition and shit like that? No, probably not. And so this is again though taking advantage of the way in which the sector works, aerospace and defense, and just the entire idea of uh, whether we want to call it some confrontation or at least a anxiety that something is always going to happen. And so what do people do? We speculate. And so this is a nice chart that has not really developed at all, right? Hasn't developed. We're in a very sort of tight range, even though it's very volatile through here. This is the kind of chart that's fresh, it's kind of new, and takes advantage of a sector that we like, and then takes advantage of the way in which people behave with trading, right? This is a pretty straightforward trade, I would say. And so this is kind of one that is very people focused, very behavior focused, and that's what I like. When I look for patterns and we look for trends and really look for taking just price and converting it into how people think and how people trade, it's usually on the charts that have the most extreme of moves that actually show what people are thinking the most, right? Maybe even showing like these charts here. These are pretty fucking wide range, and there's a lot of crazy price action here. This is the kind of chart that shows what people are thinking more than something like Apple, right? You can really tell the behavior in which people are taking through trading based on the things that have happened, right? When you have major uptrends into significant losses. Again, this is the whole Archegos sort of incident here. We had a lot of things connected to it. And then you consolidate in such a way that is again showing that okay, well, maybe this trend could happen again here, right? And we have the same thing on this chart through here. You have a brand new chart, right? And again, I draw some trend lines on here that probably no one else is going to look for. It doesn't really make sense. Sure. But again, there's when you look at charts that are extreme, they have extreme trends in them and extreme sort of price action. It's a lot easier to start to look for that price in the way prices pivot and turn and consolidate and go, okay, that's just people. They're going, they're making decisions and they have thoughts that are really easy to track. It's very easy to find out when and where, right? And so when things start to tighten in here, and all of a sudden you don't have the same price action as before, these things become very obvious, right? And so again, bringing it back to it's really easy for us to just forget that it's just people. I know that basically, 90% of the market is algorithms trading, but there's still a person on the other end making a decision. Especially for all of us, we're all part of this, and there's just millions and millions of us all doing the same thing. It's just people in the way they react. They have a bad day and they have a good day, and they look at something and they think about it in the same way as we all think about it because we all basically have the same biology, right? And so it's important when we think about some of these things that remember that basically the thoughts that we have are the same thoughts that everyone else is having, right? And you just have to map it out. What are the decisions that will come if this happens, right? And so that's why most of my charts are just plans, and so maybe think about that a little bit. I was thinking about it a little bit when some of these charts are so extreme that that's your first reaction is like, what is going on here? This is pretty doesn't even look right. It's weird. Uh, that doesn't mean that people are not going to have thoughts about it, and those thoughts usually translate to decisions, whether that's not to buy, whether that's to sell, or whether it is to buy. But at what point at what point, if I asked you on a chart, would you be willing to buy, right? And if there's a point coming up that you would be willing to buy, then maybe you should buy it before then, right? That's sort of like taking Apple out of the low in here. It hasn't moved for like a month here. Don't you think it's probably going to move from down here at some point? Yeah, probably, right? Probably. And the same thing again when we look at our benchmarks, just because energy's been at a high nonstop, is it all of a sudden going to stop being at a high? Probably not. Doesn't really make sense for it to stop, right? Keep in mind. What do we got for time? 3 minutes. All right. Let's load up. Let's see what we got coming in. We're probably gonna go straight to all-time high, I would say. Again, keep in mind what that's gonna do to your numbers. Gonna bloat things up a little bit. If we do get the opposite reaction where we take profit right at the all-time high, we've done it a few times now. Then we're gonna keep in mind some sort of whip. I think it's very important that if we see some price action that's opposite to what is expected, which should be bid. Again, the numbers came in hot. Inflation 5%, CPI is at all time or not all time, but a high since 1992. Okay, great. Yeah, those are higher than expected. Does that mean we're gonna stop buying? No. This should be bid. We're at all-time high. If we see selling, get ready for some whip. And if you haven't entered a position, you're probably gonna get an opportunity to buy at a low. You get support, anything, use it as an excuse. The reality is there's no excuse for not being in all the time right now. So fucking find something to buy, right? Get 2 days here. There's going to be again, there's going to be continued sort of portfolio rotations happening, and we could see different sectors interacting with another, whether that's growth sells, value buys, the opposite. It should be all together, but it's possible that we see those things. We find those, we'll take advantage of it, look for flows, right? There's really nothing on the macro side we need to look at, nothing dollar oriented. Bitcoin's sitting under 40 still. It's really, it'll be bonds related probably. We'll see if bonds continue to sell. With bonds selling more, they're gonna buy equities. All right, give me my ticks. Give me my bid. Oh, just give me. I got 2 days. Most likely tomorrow we'll put the most risky positions on, but if we have them today, then we'll take the baseline going into the weekend. 100, 5% inflation, unbelievable. All right, give me my candle. What's the number? 423.26. 423.26 is the high. I already see ask prices over that, so I'm pretty sure that means all-time high. Remember, it's pretty fucking hard to buy the bid when things are going up. If something's going up, you're probably gonna have to buy the ask. So click that ask. You know what they say? Click the ask. Ask. Hit the ask. Okay. Yeah, it's better. Okay, we got some take profits on some of our sillier big gains from yesterday. Making sense. A little bit slow out of the gate here. BA is up 2%. Very nice. Of course, we've been talking about BA, GE, some of the similarities with the blue chips, right? The BA bid right there, right on the level. Makes a lot of sense. We like this chart. I like the stock. Anything that looks a little interesting. Then ERJ, all up. ERJs are other aerospace and defense. I obviously posted this. Let's look at it on the weekly here. We got a moment. Here's the weekly log I posted a while ago. Big points right there. That's a lot of points. Again, it's just sector specific. Yeah, but I do like this sector a lot. So nice gain there to start. 10 up quite a bit. Auto parts. What do we even need to say about auto parts? Who knows why? I mean, we know why, but it's just kind of silly how much those go up. They look very nice. Most bios are still continuing. Again, most is going to be energy focused. You'll see in terms of gains from our charts. Forward coming off the trend line. We bought on the trend line. Dirty Dow also stalled, waiting for some price action. Mega caps are going to be a little slow. Sort of this same candle is everywhere. If you take a look, look how flat that candle is on Google. That's the silliest thing I've ever seen in my life. That's a dash. That's just a straight up dash. Underlying dash. Microsoft getting in bed. Amazon looks like we're going to continue. We've talked about Apple and Amazon being the ones coming out of lows. If they break their range, their resistance here, they're going to put points on. We just talked about this chart at the low, why you should be taking all the mega caps, why you should be in. And if Amazon blows through here, well, good thing you bought. What did you guys buy? You bought, I don't know, some dumb meme stock. You could have just bought the big boys. Oh, all-time high. Good job, guys. That's technically all-time high right there. See ya. All right, boys. I think we'll just call it a day. I'm fucking 100% in. I'm gonna make money. Might as well just call it right here because, I mean, if this continues, see ya. I don't even need to say anything. Watch this candle grow. Like Johnny in the Appleseed. Or whatever that fucking stupid thing is. You know what I'm saying? What's the one where he got the seeds, traded the cows? The beanstalk? That one. Johnny and the Appleseed. Well, it's pretty tough out here, guys. I'll tell you, it's really tough out here. Sheesh. You know, maneuvering around all this data. You know, so many different. You know, there's just so many different things. It's been so volatile and just difficult out there. You know. Oh, banks are coming down a little bit. We're only up 60 basis points. Tough, I'll tell you though. Jack and the Beanstalk. Ah, right. I mean, what do you guys think? Is it gonna go up? I think it's going up. 424 on the S&P. Why? I mean, best day to enter was yesterday. Best day to enter was last year. Best day to enter was when you were born. There's no game to play. It plays itself. We've literally had to do nothing. We buy stocks, and that's it. Bingo. IQ, nice start. I don't really have much. Seasick, we'll see what solar wants to do here. You know, talked about whether or not clean energy will come back. Not right now. Not right now. Now is not the time to make money. In so many other places. Let's see. Where's Neo at? Doing decent. Just updated that Neo chart. Ford, nice day so far. 2%. GE coming off the low. We just bought that again at that low. VA coming off the 251 we already saw. This is probably going to break through here. You're going to get a flag, right? Let me just draw it real quick. Ooh, this is a long pull. Don't get excited, guys. Don't get excited about this long pull right here. Ooh, sheesh. All right there. Boom. I mean, I already know what's going to happen. I might as well just chart it already, all right? Throw it in there. There you go. Good job. Now maybe it gets rejected right here and we just do this, all right? That's not going to happen. That's probably not going to happen. Now, our next point is 427 and a half, which is not very far away, all things considered. So this is today. It's really not out of the question to go do this today. So 427.5. Keep our eyes open on the SPY. Now the next thing is going to again be mega caps in the Nasdaq. How quickly do we get up to here? This is also doable today. That's only 1%. This could easily do this if Apple wakes up. Amazon obviously woke up. We just saw that. This is again, if you're not a part of these positions, like I just what do I even need to fucking talk about? I don't know. But again, Facebook's already made this move, as well as this again. This is all-time high through Facebook. Just sharp. Google has been, I mean, it's the most disgusting thing in the world. This is beating everything. This is beating energy, which is up 55% on the year. Google is up over 55% on the year. And it's really dumb to sit here and say, well, you know what? I'm going to go fucking buy, I'm going to buy some more GameStop. Don't do it. Just don't. Just don't tell me, at least. Don't ask me about a dumb stock. When you could literally just buy the 5 biggest companies in the world. Be good. All right. So now that everyone's got their risk appetite, we can see that there's a pause on our value, so we can go buy the big boys. Oh, UMC up over 2.5. Very nice as well. We just talked about this. Continued move on semis. Great day so far. I love a nice green day. This really puts in perspective Green Day's Wake Me Up When September Ends, because you could basically just sleep until September at this point. I thought, guys, listen, I thought inflation was supposed to be bad. What the fuck happened? Who didn't? Wait a second. Greg, you didn't get the memo? No, no, no. We like inflation this time. No, 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 no. It's not like. No, 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 no. It's not like from the 60s and 70s. No, this time we like it. Yeah, it's hot, you know? Now they keep saying it's been a real hot summer. It's not because of global warming. Global warming's not real. It's inflation. It's just inflation, Greg. Yeah, it's good. Buy more. It is pretty funny, though. I find it very interesting. But this is why it's so important to understand what's going to come, and how I've talked about this for months. I've talked about it for months and said that I think it'll be different this time, and I think inflation leads to higher equities. It's a very easy opinion to just settle on. You don't really need many arguments for it. You just settle on it and you trade it accordingly. And by being in position, you get to capture the gains that come, right? That's it. You don't have to do anything right now. And so it's not so much that you need to just like take a side on an opinion, but I don't think it was that difficult to see the signs, right, of what people would do. It's not like it's many points here, but this is a different amount of points. I'm sure most of you see this on your own trades as well. This is a different amount of points because of the reaction. You get these numbers, and they're pretty crazy numbers. And then this gain right here is a lot more than like a. This is like we just put 5% on most positions. Even if we just settle up here, right? It's important to realize. Amazon 1%. Is this like a normal 1%? Like if it was on a trend, right? If it was just on a trend, 1% is just 1%. These are this is very different when you take a trade from a low and this 1% hits you. The volatility is much different. So, because again, it's contrary to what is believed, which is that, well, we need to be worried about what's happening. Maybe we do. Maybe we do. Prices don't reflect that, though. Where's Honeywell? HON, is also a part of everything we've talked about. Big boy blue chip. We did see that news that came out about their quantum computer being spun off into another public company. I don't think that matters because again, it's still tied to them. So sometimes we see some weird, like GE has that, it has done some of those weird things that actually affected its price, but that's because it's major components. So shouldn't be a problem. Healthcare, healthcare, healthcare. So much healthcare. Urban, nice move so far. Oh, nope, just lost about 0.5% there, but it's still up 2%. SunPower, 3%. It's getting close. I don't know. I love this move by Google. That's just gross. See if Apple wakes up. It's really what the market wants. Oh, goodness. Let me tell you about these dividends I'm about to get. No, it looks weird right there, but it's up 60 basis points. Let me tell you about these dividends I'm about to cash in. Ooh. What are we at? We're at 4.4. Oh. Imagine. All right, baby. Come on, NASDAQ. Give it to us. 80 basis points. Fueled. Fueled by none other than Big Daddy Bezos. Out of his resistance. Amazon is the most tied to the economy out of all the mega caps. It is the big one. I mean, that is some that let's turn this bad boy right here green. That is some bid. Let's see. What else is waking up? ENPH for the just 3.5 through the trend. Whatever's going on there, okay. Don't really care, but funny looking. Semiconductors all around really, really putting the points on right now. They're loving the mega caps moves. Really chasing. This is the kind of shit that you just get you get that little bit of extra volatility and it really helps with some of these tickers. Especially when we talk about semiconductors have such a, you know, they have debates going on whether it's really that good for it. Well, quite a bit of bid. Nice day. Nice day. What do we got? Let's see. Bonds break even. Bitcoin chilling. Gold break even. Oil does continue. 7.5 for a barrel. Natural gas has continued. I've added a few of those natural gas charts. UNG updated it. Didn't give you the lines. You don't need the lines. See the price. Okay. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? Clean energy or no? Oh no. Some of them look good, and it would be a nice trade to take some risk on. Just don't know if I want to buy them. I think seeing them up for like 3 days in a row now has kind of woken me up for the idea. The MTK continues, our other weekly chart. Healthcare, healthcare, healthcare. It's all that matters. Blues continue. It's been a very nice trend so far this past week and a half. Rad's about to go through the trend line again. Trend line today is 2269. Nice. Caesar continues. Roku continues. Been a nice trade so far. Again, there's I consider these all to be the same sort of thing. This broadcasting and it's really just media companies. If you think of a media company, it could be basically anything. It's your Netflixes, your Disney's, your Viacoms, your AT&T, phone, internet, cable, TV, movies, entertainment. They're all the same fucking companies, operating the same way. There's something going on there. More, more consolidation. Wake up, Apple. Come on. Let's put this red. It's green already because I'm pretty sure it's going to go through. But let's give it a red. 120, 128 and a half to about 129. Looking for it. Looks like it to me, don't you think? Everything is getting going. Seeing everything that was break even or red really getting hot. It's a good time. Tesla's at 2% today. Still really beat up. Does not look good down there. I don't like that at all. All right, give me a moment. All right. So again, online comes in at about, oh, what am I looking at? I thought it was a half. 427.5 or something. Something like that. Something like that. A lot of green. A lot of green. Amazon, about 1.5. Microsoft, just about over 1% now. Google, just defying gravity, 1%. Facebook, chilling. Obviously put a lot of points on recently. When we look at other things, talked about like Netflix down here, this is something that's probably going to wake up because of the mega caps waking up. Keep in mind these sort of ideas. We saw the likes of Twitter, for instance, woke up because of Facebook, right? Snap, similar idea, right? Consolidated, broke out. Very possible you see a lot of these different tech companies now. Whether the COVID winners, right? Been talking about the COVID winners a lot, and I've talked about how I expect them to have a lot of upside. It's just, when the hell do you take this train? Because what is all this stuff? I said this yesterday. This is beautiful right here. This is a great trend here. It's this stuff that's gross. You're gonna have to walk back through your shit that you took earlier, right? It's called resistance. So now you're in it. But this, again, these moves are all connected to how the market's trading right now. We've seen it everywhere. That things like AMC can look like the SPY chart every day, but yet it just doesn't, has different percents. Right? We go look at AMC here. It looks like the S&P. I would think this might be the S&P 500 right here. I'm not sure. I can't even tell the difference. Like some opening action, some closing action, opening, a little bit of a whip down. Chegg, another COVID winner. Hot stocks continuing from yesterday. It's nice. If we just look at the average of semiconductors, let's see. No, there'll be those that say, see, this is a, how would they draw this? They're like, well, see this here and this here. This is gonna go this way. See that? Duh. Hindsight. See? But that's not how it works, you know? It's just not how it works. But yes, upside. Become. Oh, I missed Wiz's comment. He's gotta go to work like a sucker. Yeah. People that go to work are suckers. That's for sure. Working is for losers. Imagine working. Ugh. Gross. Oh, I think I let me see. Where's my Amazon packages? Out for the delivery. Out for delivery. You know, today, I'll tell you, today is the kind of day, and I think a little lunch is on the menu. Maybe a little bit of frozen drinks on the menu. If they don't have frozen drinks on the menu and it doesn't look like a little bitch drink, I'm not going. I want fruit and frozen all together. Let's hit up the boys. Obviously celebrating this wonderful heat, as in the heat from inflation numbers. WBA, nice move so far. AZN had a nice start today. I mean, this was a little too straightforward, but it's fine. Moderna, same thing as usual. Bidu. Hmm. What do we make of China today? What is China going to do tomorrow? Maybe this is our risk trade. We've tried it only 100 times and it hasn't worked yet, but I've got money. Does China like US inflation? Well, if we're the fucking country importing everything and prices are up, then that must be good for China, right? Done. Convince me already. Convince me already. These actually are. Is this the low? This might be the low. If Bidu is turning at this low, the same chart. We'll just take MCHI, take the ETF, take the ETF and pray. I don't know if I want to buy any of these specifically. Not a big fan. These are gross, but is this the time? I haven't really thought about this dynamic. What if we get significant US inflation? And basically we just buy everyone else's shit. So we're drastically importing. Um the only reason that would work is if the dollar went down more, because it would even out. Hmm. I don't think it's that hard to bet on the dollar going down, though. So if the dollar goes down, prices are going up, which are basically prices on things we've imported. But demand's going to go down. But maybe it doesn't. So usually you think if prices go up, demand should go down. But we live in America. Or those of you that don't live in America, uh, those things don't matter. Who cares what the price is? You buy it anyway. But if prices are going up, does that mean demand goes down so then we import less? That's now I'm backwards. Now I think it's the other way. I think that just tells me I shouldn't take a trade there. I don't know. I don't think that's a debate that can be fizzled out or solved. Too many other factors. How are we doing here, Apple? You stop moving here, bud. We really want you to keep going there. Follow your buddies. Maybe Facebook will wake up. Tesla is getting going. I don't think it likes my comments over the last year. Is it gonna take? Is it gonna be the ultimate COVID winner coming out of the low? There's somebody that's looking at this right now and going, "Holy shit! There's no upper wick. That's gonna be gone." That's 700 today. They may be right. Someone see Tesla? Exactly. The sleeping giant. Except it's kind of like it's not a giant. It's like the shadow. It's a little man, and his shadow looks like a giant. SunPower is at 4.5. Someone's buying. Someone's buying. Oh, I don't know what I want to do with those. Clean energy being bought or what? Solar? Chemical sector keeps going. Roku over 3. We're getting hot. We're getting hot. Hmm. Oh, is the market crashing? Nah. UI 4%. 4%. Entries are getting close. Fox, support. Rest of these are all up, of course. ACs was rejected on resistance. PAL rejected on resistance. They're all right there, though. Close. The top of the list. Anything changed up here? 10 is on the trend line. Good looking. Like steel's about to come back. Some of these candles are just strange to look at. They don't look like they moved. Some are up like 4%. Let's see. What's going on over here? Nice doji on the 15 on Amazon. Probably the best day we've seen from the NASDAQ in quite some time. Probably in a couple months. Consensus buying. Okay, done with that. All right, now move on to the next part of the day. What do we get for some trading view ideas? Or anything new? Well, we saw all those. Bitcoin. What to... Oh, here we go. Bitcoin. What to look for on the emerging one-day death cross. There's a death cross on Bitcoin. That's the death cross. It's the Death Star, but it's crossed. Holy moly. That could spell the end. The current one-day death cross seems unavoidable. History suggests that a lower low is coming, either in the greater framework of a bear cycle or the mini bear. If not, then some really earth-shattering positive news should emerge in order to deliver a March 2020-like recovery after the death cross. Are the El Salvador ETF approval news enough? What do you think? Wow. That's some big, big stuff. Okay, good. Some of these colors, I'll tell you. What is this? Like, isn't that really hard to look at? Sheesh. Euro, New Zealand dollar, confirmed double top, waiting to short. Don't wait to short. If you've confirmed it, short it. H-band, great place to invest. All right, let's take a look. Tell me what you got. Resistance, support. Came in past the pre-damic price level. Looks very strong and healthy. What are you showing me here? I like H-band. Over the past month, current quarter estimates have risen from 32 to 34. Whoa, buddy. Keyword here is estimate. Yeah. Watch out. Okay, what do we got? This one now. Hold on. Let's take a look at this. What do we got? History repeats. Okay, this is September 2020, June 2021, May. What? Oh, this is the same chart right here. Oh, this is GameStop and AMC. It's a fucking GameStop cultist that's trying to trick us into looking at his damn chart. Jesus Christ. Kledji Cooney. Trying to get a better view of this guy. How do you do that? Look at that little patch right there. Never trust a guy that's got a patch on his chin like that. What my mom always told me. Alright, there's nothing interesting on here, is there? Let's get some cute lines on it. Future ideas. Gold. Okay. Oh, this guy's got fucking megaphone on DXY. On a head and shoulders, but that's okay. Huh. Okay, nothing. This guy tell us anything new about Tesla? What's this? Can't draw invisible or act like it's gonna hit something. I don't know what that is. What if it breaks through? Then it's bullish. Boring. Well, here's the market if you missed it. Going through all-time highs. Just, there's just about everything's green. There's not much you can't buy. Or should have already bought. A lot of green out there, I'll tell you. Oh, we do have some losses. Kodak, the first vaccine company of COVID. Kodak. Taking an L today. X coming back up. Wait a second. Square Inc. is very far behind PayPal. Very far. We like PayPal, but we don't like Square down there. Holy. PayPal is just better. Much better. Also explains why the fintech sector is not technically up right now. PayPal's the only one. Wet F. Doing decent. Semis are all very good. I really like the semi move. Continuing. Natural gas continues. What's going on, XP? AL's getting sold. Now these are interesting. Now here's some risk. What time does this usually turn? When did we buy down here? This was 11:50. I've seen 11:15 and 11 and 11:15. Quite a bit here. You boys ready for another one? We're still in win. Oops, nope. Delta's still technically up, which is funny from where it opened. What about, can we just get a little creative here? What about, by the way, just buy this shit. Just buy the travel that's coming down. I wonder if we can get a little creative and buy jets because retail's still trading. I mean, this chart looks... Why does it look like this? It's very tight in here. Yep. Travel into the weekend. Travel into the weekend. Everything's still on support. I don't think I like LVS as much. It's very downtrendy. Stick with win. Where's good old Spirit at? Spirit's a little bit more down to the downside as well. You can see the angle through here. A little bit more downturn. So stick with the big boys here. It's a pretty nice time to buy. Pretty nice time. I don't mind a good old travel buy. It's also at 69 basis points, and it's at 23.69. If that doesn't give you enough motivation to buy it, then whew. We're really just waiting to see where we close the day off now. Kind of Depends for tomorrow. Or the trend continues, at least. U.S. mortgage rates slip with 30-year loan at 2.96%. Wow. Imagine getting a less than 3% mortgage. Mm. Blast. Sun Power's at 6.5 and really making me. Hmm. I don't know. Looks like a lot of points. All right, got some take profit from the high. See, where's this going? Like app. Looks like it doesn't matter. Don't see much. Don't see much. Rates at. Oof. Yield back down. Going lower and lower. That's where it is. So we are believing the Fed. We are believing the transitory, good old Fed argument. That's where your money is. Hedging the all-time high rally with good old bonds. So that's a good sign for our equity rally. Maybe get our correlation back. That bouncing on the close. Well, looks like a few of you are getting your second opportunity. Now, most tickers have stayed green. So the average here is a little bit of a lie. Little bit of a lie. Especially when you look at mega caps, besides Apple. But we are seeing the flow go into bonds. Those usually go pretty quick. Usually pretty quick. Today's chart's going to definitely look interesting. Certainly going to look interesting. In the NASDAQ. You can see the Nasdaq's doing very well. Very well. Dow looks like it's going to be taking that support. And this is Banks Energy swinging back around. SPY's basically showing the same thing. Still thinking about this whole clean energy thing. Sure. It's hard to tell if it's just retail buying it, which is something to be, you know, not taken too seriously. It's probably the important thing, especially in terms of a trend. Be careful. Bitcoin heading back down. It looks like we had some bid earlier, but sitting around that 37,000. Europe finishing the day off very break even. Commodities do keep going, by the way. We're seeing a lot of different, I don't know if you want to call them rotations, but a lot of different flows. So it looks like we're a little bit lagged all across the market. Surprised we don't really see in the dollar too much. You kind of can, but not very helpful. Not very helpful. You can tell that volatility is not a help either. Down 6.5% today. Should be higher. Should be higher. We're getting groovy. Let's see. See what we got. Up 20 basis points on the day. So we rally through all the record. We start to take profit as flow goes to the bond market into some commodities. We're still significantly higher on growth. Whole market's still up. Important to look at the bid or the highs as bid, and that we have the bid, and that we've lost some flow. So me interested to see, we might get the exact same action. It's gonna look just strange. It's gonna be a little bit of a ride, just whipping back and forth. The order is very strange though, because if you again, we just saw this yesterday. Bonds yields were going down, right? And we had the opposite effect, going from beginning of this week into sort of what we just saw into yesterday to here. Today we went bid off the start, started switching over bonds. Doesn't take long, like I said. Then what are we doing? We're whipping back up. We continue the normal amount of buying. We get for action on BA here. Went through support, down to the trend line support. Everything on the consumer side is still bid. Taking advantage of the CPIs. And up we go. Let's see, are we done with bonds now? Let's see. Yep, bonds coming back to break even. Flows coming back to equities. Now we go the other way. Bitcoin down further. Coffee. Holy shit. I feel like I'm dying without coffee right now. Small caps continue down. This is again regional banks and small oil. We're seeing the this average bring it down. This is up 0.5% on the day. So again, uh, the move down here is not the part that matters. It's again, this is intraday. It's up 0.5% on the day. Going to probably be up 1% at least on the day. Banks, similar story, except that this is down 0.5%. So you see it on the small caps, but when this comes back up, you're probably not going to see it on the small caps. It's going to be just big banks. So that side of things is always look at. Come on, Apple, good old buddy. Rest of your buddies are waiting for you. All right, I think I need another coffee, boys. You know what happened? So I bought a. I just finally ran out of coffee, and I went and bought bags of coffee. And instead of buying ground coffee beans, I bought whole coffee beans, and I don't have a grinder. So I usually just buy the ones that are already grounded. I'm like, woke up this morning and I went to put, you know, put a filter in, went to make a thing of coffee, and just a bag of beans came out, and I was like, you gotta be shitting me. Too lazy to go out. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Who would sell me whole coffee beans? What do I look like? Should be head back up. I mean, we should be at the same price we were at earlier. I think it's, again, it looks very weird, but it's just due to the flows, the way that we're just interacting with bonds right now, which is good. It's nice to be able to see money flow from equities to bonds and then bonds back to equities. I think that's pretty nice because we haven't done that in quite some time. Quite some time. Now, it's not very reflective on the dollar or inflation or basically anything, but we are seeing flows take place. We're gonna have a nice chart today with, depending on how high we finish, a very interesting lower wick. That wick down, tested support, held it. Gonna stand for something, right? The big thing here again, higher high, lower, or higher low, everything higher together. This will be higher. The biggest thing today, I think, that we learned was that investors are not scared to buy tech into very high inflation. You see a number like 5% inflation. I mean, the first thought is not to buy growth. That discounts your growth. But today, nope. There's risk on mentality to go buy. And so that bid we saw in the morning is all you need to know. They're out there willing. And so I'm sure we're going to see that for the rest of the day here. I think lunch will, I don't really think things slow down too much. You'll have lower volume numbers, but I don't think you slow down. I think you continue. You can tell by just the sizing in here. The activity is a little different. You compare it to yesterday. Quite the difference, right? Quite the difference here of activity. Especially if we're going to whip back up, it creates now again another dramatic sort of entrance into the high that could definitely spur demand again, volatility once more. Most tickers are pretty green today, so the average can only really help those that have already continued to do well. So we'll watch that for later. I'll see you guys this afternoon. Take a break for lunch. I got to get some coffee. Dying over here. So I'll see you guys this afternoon. Enjoy your lunch, and until then.